بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم. ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل الضلالة في النار. Over the past few days, a few things happened. We want to address the two things that happened. One thing happened and I was asked another question. And I've been procrastinating, not getting to the answer of the question. And it's the right that I answer the question, inshallah. In our class of Al-Khitaba, doing the khutbah and stuff and encouraging the brothers and training the brothers collectively to do the khutbah, as well as strengthening the brotherhood and learning how to get criticized and not take it personally, but let the person's criticism be more about advice. Being different from the Yahud, who you can't criticize them. If you criticize them, they make the ilzam of your naqd of them and they say you're anti-Semitic or you support Hamas. You can't be like that. So there is a thing that is called, where people criticize you to make you a better person, to make you give a better product. And that's our responsibility. So we all have to learn that. Especially if we're giving dawah, we can't always take what people say to us personally and we become like little spoiled brats, little children. We have to be bigger than that, more mature than that. So when the brothers get up here and they give the khutbah, a lot of things happen. Number one, they have the courage to get up here in the first place. They get the khibra and the experience of getting up here, and inshallah, it's a thing for taqwiyatul iman, because the person says at the beginning, I can't do that. We say, no, you can do that. Just get up there and do it and try. And lo and behold, he's doing it and he's shocked himself. So there's a lot of benefits from it. And then the person, it gives us more people, inshallah, to give dawah. We are against that thing where the responsibility, the mas'uliyah of the dawah, and the heaviness of the dawah is such that anyone who wants the light to be on him alone or the microphone, you're crazy, you're majnoon. Something's wrong with you. We have to make the tawzi' of the responsibility of the dawah. So it's a lot of benefits in that. Anyway, usually the brothers who are participating in the class are the ones who give their points of view. But the ones who are in the masjid on this day, we open up the door and people can give their own points of view. And wallahi, there's benefit that comes from the point of view of people, because sometimes the criticism is nuanced. For an example, an Arabic person, Arabic speaking person in the crowd, as it has happened to me. And this is why I keep telling you, younger brothers. Abu Asma, Abu Sarah, he said to me, you're saying amma ba'd with a dal, daleen. Abu Asma had me in the corner like I was a kid in the roda, saying amma ba'd, and then he just left me. He said, do the best you can. Because my lisan, imagine, but I still have to try my best. I can't look at him and say, he's mutasallat aliyah. He want to put me in the mud. Because he's an Arab, there are other Arabs listening and they're saying, you have to do better than that. That's all it is. That's all it is. So the other day, one of the Arab brothers gave advice to one of the brothers in terms of his pronunciation of some of Khutbat al-Hajjah. It was a malahadha that I had. It was a malahadha that the other student had. But when the Arabic brother said it, it was perfect coming from that Arabic brother because he's saying, this is my language. I know that. And the brother didn't take it in a bad way. You just have to do better. Simple as that. Anyway, one of the brothers made a really good point. This is what I want to talk about, inshallah, concerning this ayah and concerning this concept. And also to embellish the point. One of the elders, he said, when the brother was talking about death, and death is very close to all of us, it was a very good topic. And he put it together and his ideas, they flowed, and he did a good job bringing ayat and ahadith, mashallah. And then he used something that the young kids use, and they say this, what do they call it again? An acronym, like NASA. NASA, National Aeronautic Space Association. So you have multiple words, and you put them all together, and they make a word. They call that an acronym. They have in Arabic as well, like in Tajweed, Yarmaloon. For the ahkam of the noon is sakin, Yarmaloon. So these kids in the West say YOLO, you only live once. So go ahead and have a good time. You only live once. Get high, do your thing, party, and so forth and so on. We have to be very careful. We have to be very careful with taking from these non-Muslims in their culture because they say things that go against our religion, like you were lucky, things like that. We don't have that in our aqeedah, luck. Nothing happens by luck. Everything happens by the qadr of Allah. If someone dies, you know, even Muslims say that, rest in peace. Say to a non-Muslim, rest in peace, rest in power. He's not resting in peace. His graveyard is a adhan. It's an adhan. I've seen imams at the grave say to the person who's dead, we have now brought this brother to his final resting place. Is that true? It's not his final resting place. That's not the final resting place. There's a popular saying of these non-Muslims. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. We created you people from this dirt. We're going to return you back to the dirt when you die, and then we're going to take you out of that dirt again. And you're going to go to Jannah. But we, from popular culture, we are muta'atharun. We're affected, so we got to be careful about that. And there's a lot of stuff like that. So anyway, the brother wanted to make a point, and that point was okay with me. I was going to praise him for the point, making it connected to something that the Shabab used. And he said, you know, like the people say, YOLO, you only live once, and you have to take care. He didn't buy into that meaning. He doesn't believe you only live once. He doesn't. But when he said that, he didn't think about all of the ramifications of that statement. One of the elder brothers said, we don't believe in that. And it happened last week again, when I said something about if Isa ibn Maryam came back and he was coming out of my house and he said, I married your daughter, Maymuna, I'm not going to fight him. A brother said, can Isa ibn Maryam do that? I thought about it. I said, no, he's not going to do that because he's going to be in the Sharia of the Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you can't get married without the wedding. So we say things and we don't always think about all of the angles of that thing. Anyway, that advice of the brother was good. That's why I hope you brothers on Thursday will come, inshallah, so that you can put more pressure on these brothers, and not in a negative way, because if they get the khutbah somewhere, it's going to be more people than you, 10, 15, 30 people. It's going to be 500,000 people. So two things I want to mention. First thing is connected to that YOLO. YOLO. First thing that I want to mention, Ikhwani, is the ayat that we had mentioned, because one of the brothers, the Arab brother, he said, is that true? We only live once? And he was right. We live more than once, and we die more than once. We mentioned that ayat when he brought that to our attention. كَيْفَ تَكْفَرُونَ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. How do you people disbelieve in Allah when you were dead, and then Allah gave you life, and then he will cause you to die again, and then he will return you, you all will return to him, right? So that was right what he said. And there's an ayat of the Quran, رَبَّنَا أَمِتَّنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ وَأَحْيَيْتَنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ. Oh Allah, you cause us to die twice, and you cause us to live twice. So in Al-Islam, we have to believe, and there are a lot of ayat and ideas like this, that they don't go along with Western thinking. There are quite a few things, you'll be shocked, quite a few things that go against this stuff. So anyway, let's make the point. First of all, concerning this ayat, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Kayfa is one of the ways that the Arabs ask a question. And from the richness of the language, and I want to encourage you brothers to get in this Arabic class and to be consistent with this Arabic class, so we can take you as far as we can go, and then you'll go in another journey, and another journey, and another journey. And your Arabic get better, 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 because it is wide. It is wide. So the question, Kayfa. Asking this question, Kayfa, has three functions we want to mention to you. One function is so a person can get to know. You ask the person, Kayfa haluka. You want to understand and get the ma'rifah. How's your situation? So you're asking them a question. Kayfa haluka. How? Kayfa atayta al-masjid. How did you come here? Did you drive? Did you walk? Did you take the bus? So you ask that question. It's one of the meanings of kayfa. Another meaning of kayfa is when you want to establish something. You're not asking a question. You're establishing you're establishing something. Like the question Allah asks many times in the Quran. It's called a taqreer. What's a taqreer? To establish something. Allah asks the question for an example in the Quran, Alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin? Isn't Allah the best of those who judge? That's not asking you a question. That's Allah establishing that he's the best of those to judge. No one judges better than him. And then when Monday comes around and people go to vote or not to vote, you better remember in your head, hukum of Allah is the only hukum. So many times, أَلَنْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ وَلِسَانًا وَشَفَتَيْنِ. Did we not give him 2 eyes and 2 lips and a tongue? Allah is not asking you to say yes, he did. He's establishing that in many, many ayat of the Quran. So the second issue behind the question, kayfa, or question, is for a taqreer, to establish. And then there's the third one, and this is what this ayat is about. كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ. It is for tawbih. What is tawbih? Blame, to put you down. Huh? Tawbih, to put you down. Why you do that? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? You're not expecting to say, no, I'm not crazy. You're letting him know that, what are you doing? And you accept, you don't want him to explain to you, oh, well, basically this. No, you're asking that question to let him know you're not happy with that thing. So Allah is asking that question. كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا. How do you disbelieve in Allah and you were dead? And then he gave you life. And he's going to cause you to die again. He's going to give you life again and you're going to go back to him. How do you disbelieve in Al-Islam? And Allah has given you all these signs, and Allah has given you all of these ni'mah and stuff like this and this and that and that. So that is this ayat right here that we had mentioned. And this ayat is talking about the tawbih for Bani Adam who became kuffar and they didn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't believe in him. They didn't believe in Allah. All right? That ayat is connected to this issue of dying twice and living twice. Dying twice and living twice. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, and Abdullah ibn Abbas, they said the meaning of kayfa takfuruna billah wa kuntum amwata, you were dead. They said you were dead before Allah created you. Allah caused you to be dead before he created the khalq. And then he created the khalq and gave you life. Then he's going to cause you to die again. And then he's going to give you life a second time. And that goes with the ayat that was mentioned that day, establishing that's the meaning of 2 deaths and 2 lives. 2 lives and deaths. So we didn't go through it that day, but now we want to make that, inshallah, clear. In our aqidah, it's like in Al-Islam, the night precedes the day. In our religion, this is our religion. It's who we are. These people, they don't believe that. Doesn't even make sense to them. And there are a lot of serious issues like that in Aqidah with the creation even. About the sun moving. These people said that the sun sits still. And that the planets go around the sun. Earth goes around the sun. But there are a lot of issues. And a lot of discussion is with that. And it causes the Muslim to sit back. Like this. It causes a person to sit back like this and say, well, I have to figure this out. And no matter what, I have to find a plausible explanation for it and just don't reject it because non-Muslims don't believe it that way. Now with science and things like that that are not disputable, they can't dispute these things. We have to. We absolutely have to. We absolutely have to try to figure out how do we understand that? How do we understand that? Because there are adillah that will suggest that the sun is moving. The sun is moving. Allah never held the sun back for anybody except who? Allah held the sun back from setting. The sun was setting. وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي فِي مُسْتَقَرٍ لَهَا. Who was that Nabi that Allah held the sun back? Who was that? Huh? Who? Yusha ibn Nun, Joshua from Bani Israel. He was fighting in Palestine. And he was fighting the enemies of the Yahud. And Yusha is our Nabi. And we love him. Anti-Semitic? You're not anti-Semitic. You're a racist. You're a racist. We just don't believe you people are Allah's chosen people. I don't even believe you represent at all what Allah revealed to Yusha, Musa, and the rest of them, prophets and messengers. But anyway, Allah held the sun back so that it would stay daylight, so that he could fight the enemies of Bani Israel. He said to the sun, you have been commanded to tajri in this mustaqar, to move. And I have been commanded. Oh Allah, hold it back. He asked Allah, hold the sun back. And the sun stayed there. Non-Muslims not going to believe that. You guys believe that? Allahumma na'am, we believe that. There's a lot of things like that in our religion, in that Quran. But anyway, the point here is, as I was saying, we as Muslims have to find out when science goes against the religion, because as Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah said, he said, the aql that is sahih, the person who has a good intellect, the Quran and the Sunnah never goes against your intellect in a way that you can't understand something. There are miracles, things you can't understand, but if the aql is salim, sahih, and the naql is sahih, there's always some insijam, and there's going to be insijam, harmony. It's going to be harmony. Because we have people who, I don't understand it, so they don't believe in it. How many things you don't understand? We don't understand a lot. So that's the first thing. Second issue that we wanted to mention was an issue that I was asked a long time ago, and I felt it was important. And that is, we have people in our masjid who pray sitting down. A lot of times when people pray sitting down, they just pray sitting down. And a lot of times we don't go to read, how do you pray sitting down? This is my situation, so I have to find out. What did the Dalil say about it? So that I'm just not doing something, and I may be right, and I may not be right. He's the mu'adhin. How do I give the adhan? Do I just give the adhan like that? I don't know if I asked you this question before. I will ask you right now. You ever saw that African-American brother from California who did that adhan? And he had the izar on. You saw that adhan? That adhan got over 1 million hits. And the majority of the hits, the people were 1 million views. And the people were praising that. But that's not the adhan of al-Islam. Someone giving the adhan like that in this masjid, we're going to gently say, hold it. We're not going to say time out. Because it seems like this timeout came from this kuffar and this cross. I want to stop you, so respect what I'm saying, timeout. You know, the stuff that they do. Now, I'm not one of those people, I'm conspiracy theorists. Everything is conspiracy. A tie is a cross. I don't know. We got to go check that. But they want to check it out. I didn't find that. The Nike. You can't wear Nike because it's a God. That stuff is real. So we have to be careful. But anyway, we're going to say to our brother, all due respect, brother, Allah bless you for your niyyah, but you can't give the adhan in Masjid As-Sunnah. Not like that. We don't take the people Bryson adhan, Luther Vandross. We don't take that. You have to do the adhan in a particular way for a particular reason, so that people can hear it. And there's nothing wrong with the adhan getting the qulub and so, nothing wrong with that. But you know, the med and the takalluf, and that's what happened with Abdullah ibn Umar. A man met him for the first time. He was very happy to meet Ibn Umar, tremendous companion. He said, I love you for the sake of Allah. Abdullah ibn Umar, upon meeting a man, he never met him again. And look at the shiddah of the salaf in its right place. You can't always be gentle, nor should you always be rough and tough. But I can clearly see people, you don't know him, Abdullah ibn Umar. Pull him to the side. Be gentle with him. What? He said, and I hate you for Allah's sake. He was shocked. Why do you hate me? Why? He said, because you make talheen in the adhan. You're not doing it right. In an environment like this, these people don't know what Islam's adhan is. We want these people to walk by here, listen, they say, oh, this is the adhan of al-Islam. This is the way it's supposed to be. Ala kulli. How should we pray sitting down? There are a lot of ahkam about praying sitting down. I want to mention 2 or 3, inshallah. The brother was asking me, the people were praying sitting down. Should they sit in chairs or should they sit on the ground? Should they sit in chairs or should they sit on the ground? And sitting in chairs, is that not an innovation? Is that not an innovation? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companions were not sitting in chairs. And we're people of the Sunnah. There's a well-known fact in Islam that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sat on the ground. He was on his riding beast, his horse, and that horse threw him off. And he hit the ground and he hurt his back really bad. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. He fell off the horse and hit his landed right on his back. Allah could have made it where, he was real strong. He could have caught his balance. Allah caused the earth to the man who killed 100 people. Earth shift this way, shift it that way for him. Allah does what he wants to do. Yusha said to the sun, Anti ma'mura, wa ana ma'mur. Stop it. Allahumma hbisha. Sa'a, hold it back. Allah could have, he let him fall. And from the wisdom of that, he prays sitting down on the floor. And they said that he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, mutarabba. You know what that is? Mutarabba. That is like that brother who's sleeping right there. Abul Harith is. Malish. It's ahwan than the khutbah to Juma. Malish. No, paying the bills, no problem. But it's when you sit like that with your legs crossed. I think they call it in this culture, Indian, what they call it? Indian style. But sitting on your backside with your legs crossed. That's how he prayed. The whole prayer. And when he prayed, he said, Allahu Akbar. And when he went into ruku', it said that he made al-ima, yulmi, and that is with his head. Now, some people make a big deal and a big issue. You don't move your body. And they're rough and tough, make a big issue about it. Yeah, there's some of the major scholars of Islam said, no, you can bend down for ruku' and then for sajda, bend down more. Just now, some of the brothers missed the salat of al-maghrib. The companions, when they used to miss the prayer, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he missed the Jamaat for whatever reason, his companions, he went to make peace with the people who were fighting, who were arguing in Masjid Quba. And he came for the salat and he missed it. They prayed the prayer. He went in his house. He didn't pray in the masjid. He went in his house and gathered up his people. And they prayed together, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they wouldn't pray a second Jama'at in the masjid. They would go and they would pray furada. He prayed over there, he prayed. They wouldn't pray together. But some of the scholars say no. Like what happened today. We had 3 brothers, they prayed together. Them praying together, I think it's better that everybody prays individually. But if they pray like that, what are we going to get mad at that for? That's an opinion. Is that the Rajih opinion? It doesn't seem so. But is it haram? No, it's not haram. Someone says, what about the hadith of Abu Bakr? Okay. Prophet prayed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-asr. A man came in late. He said, who will give sadaqah to that man? And Abu Bakr went and prayed with that man. But Abu Bakr already prayed the wajib prayer. So it was nafila for him. So that's how they explain it. They say, no, it's not Jama'at. And this is for us to stay together, one Jama'at. And not to do what happened in Mecca years ago. Hanafi's pray at one time, Maliki another time, Shafi a third time, Hanbali's a 4th time, praying the same prayer. So the point here is the ikhtilaf, that's mustasakh. We don't make a big deal. Raise the dunya up over these issues. Not like that. So if a person wants to just do his head, he has those scholars who are on that. Someone wants to move his head and go a little bit for ruku', a little bit more, okay. There was a companion who, he had the bawasir, akramakumullah. I'm going to say it. This is a new word for you Arabic-speaking people. Bawasir. I'm going to say you repeat it. Bawasir. Good job. It's a good word. It's a medical term. Bawasir. Not babagha. Bawasir. You guys know what that is? What is bawasir? Hemorrhoids. He had bad hemorrhoids. Radiyallahu anhum. Human beings. But you know what you don't find in the companions? You don't find diseases resembling cancer. You don't read about them having cancer. I never read where a companion had a toothache. I read they had headaches, they had fever, stomach aches. They had zukam, they would cough and sneeze. But these things that we have today, these people are killing us. But what we hear, they're killing us. We have to stop buying this stuff on Friday, man. We have to start buying. This is serious. We have to start doing maqluba, bringing food from our houses. But until then, inshallah, we feel Allah to the best of our ability. So because of his severe, one of the companions, he had lice in his head. He made hajj, and he couldn't cut his hair because the bugs were in his hair. Rasulullah allowed him, you don't have to cut your hair. Another man, he didn't take care of his hair, and he had bugs jumping out of his hair. And when he went to eat with the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the bugs were jumping out. He said, "Man kana lakum sha'r, falyukrim." Anybody who has hair, take care of your hair, clean your hair. So they had some things that we had, and we have things we don't read about them having. He had those hemorrhoids. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed him pray sitting down. Pray sitting down. He said, Rasulullah said to me, and this is the point about praying in chairs, not praying in chairs. He said that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Salli qa'ima, فإن لم تستطع فجالسا فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنب." Everybody, for the wajib prayer, you should pray standing up. It's a rukn from the arkan of the salah. You have to stand up if you can. So if you sit on a chair and you can't make ruku, if you can't make sajda, you can stand up, you have to pray standing up. You have to start off your prayer standing up. He said, pray standing up. And if you can't, pray sitting down. And if you can't, pray lying down on your side. So as it relates to sitting down, the scholars of Al-Islam said, this sifa of al-julus for salli jalisan is mutlaq. You can pray sitting like that, mutarabba. You can pray muftarish. You can pray mutawarrik. You can pray sitting in your feet or facing the qibla. Whatever is called sitting, it's permissible. You can pray on a chair. You can pray on a bed. You can pray on the floor. Whatever is easy for you. Because he didn't specify to the man. He just left it general. Pray sitting down. But all of those scholars said, all of them said that if you have the ability, if you don't have the ability, you don't have the ability to sit on the floor, then you can sit in the chair. But praying sitting on the floor is better if you have the ability. But you can sit on a chair, they said, if, number one, it's more comfortable for you. When you sit in that chair, you're more comfortable. I'll give you an example of what that means. You know where I come from, African American, I didn't grow up sitting on his floor. You know, I can't sit muftarish. You know how your foot is up like that? I can't sit like that. And I can't sit with my other leg under. My legs are not made like that. Even things like going to the toilet, akramakumullah, you know those Arabic ones? You can't sit like that. Some people can, but my body is not made like that. I don't want to sit down on the floor to eat, especially now. So now, I've seen people who, in their prayer, they want to do the sunnah, but he's leaning on the guy next to him like this in order to put his foot up like that. You've seen that, right? He's next to you like, what are you doing? This is not or I tried to sit like that to make my foot get used to it. But while I'm doing that, that big toe is saying, womp, 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 womp. And I am not thinking about the tahiyyatu. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about that toe. And if the person is praying with me, I say, wait, what is he doing? The deen is yusr. What is he doing? Why is he, what is he doing? That's the meaning. If you sit on the chair and you have khushu' and you have concentration, and that then it's permissible, because that's what the salat is about. That's one thing. Second thing, they say you can sit on the chair. If sitting on the floor, you have to get up, and getting up is going to be difficult for you. You have the ability to make qiyam, and you do qiyam from the beginning of your prayer. You do qiyam from the beginning of your prayer, and then you sit on the chair. Now, if you sit on the floor, it's going to be tough for you getting up for the qiyam. And some people are like that. And I don't want anybody here to feel out of place. I'm like that now, 60 years old, 62, right? I get to 62, give me 2 years. I'm 62 years old, brother. When I get off this floor, I used to pick myself up and just stand up. I used to bounce up. Now I get on one knee, I get on the other knee, I raise myself up, then I got to stretch my back out like that, and I take 5, 6 mummy steps. So if I had to pray sitting on the floor, when I get up, I would be disturbing everybody around me. I'm going to disturb people because of the way I get up. So if that's your case, go ahead and sit on the chair. But those scholars said it is atam, it is more complete, akmal, for the person to sit on the floor, because that's the asl. The way that you sit for the tashahhud is on the floor. That's the hay'ah. That's the way the salat is, to sit on that floor. And that jalsa is a rukn from the arkan of the prayer. It's taken off of the person when he doesn't have the ability to do it, or doing it will cause him a lot of difficulty. That's what we wanted to mention. Last thing about praying, sitting down, for the nawafil prayer, the sunnah prayers, you can pray sitting down. He said if a person is sick, he'll get the reward of fasting and praying the way it was when he was well. Wa huwa sahih. And also for the nawafil, if a person prays sitting down, that sitting down prayer is half the reward of the standing up prayer. So you're tired, so you sit down doing salat al-isha. You just doing the nawafil of isha, or you just want to do the sunnah. You never pray sitting down for no reason. So I'm going to pray sitting down for the reason of I want to practice the sunnah. You could do that. So it is an issue, ikhwani, of ikhtilaf. And it was the fear of the brother, and I believe it was in his right place. People are next going to start coming in and putting benches in the masjid, like they have in the church. So we start putting benches in the masjid. And that is how innovation gets introduced into the religion. That's how it gets introduced. So these types of issues, they're not kalam farid. Like, what you talking about? These types of issues and the fiqh of al-Islam, you'll be shocked at how our scholars in the books that they wrote have dealt with everything under the sun. People 2024, we're not going to come up with too many things that are gharib or jadid. These things, these asha ghariba jadida, and the scholars didn't talk about it. There are some things they didn't have the ability to talk about, but this issue, I never thought about it because I really don't pray sitting down. And then when I started looking, I said, man, there's a lot of Quran and a lot of fiqh in this. So I wanted to say that because a brother asked me that question and he kept saying to me, you forgot. I said, okay, don't worry. I'm going to take care of it, inshallah. You should sit down if you have the ability. That is better. If you don't have the ability, you go ahead and sit on the chair, no problem. All right, before we do the adhan, it's the adhan time right now. Anybody got any questions about today? I'm familiar. You shouldn't lead the prayer while sitting down. The Prophet did that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the sickness that he died in, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if someone is standing up, has the ability to stand up, then he should be the one who should lead the prayer. He should be the one who leads the prayer. Any more questions?